Welcome everyone to the Smash Talk Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Thursday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go up to our friends over in Queensland in particular, and of course, they are preparing for a big grand final this weekend. That game is down at on the Gold Coast, I believe, down at Bond Uni, and of course, we've got 5 very special guest joiners from the Beenleigh Buffaloes team to tell us all about it. Thanks all you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I'll get each of you to introduce yourselves and obviously what positions you'll play on the field or within the team.
Okay, I'm Shay. I've this year been playing centre half back predominantly.
I'm Talia. I play ruck and in the middle and on the wing.
I'm Jordan. I play in midfield.
My name's Tanika and I play for the back line.
And I'm Tyron and I'm one of the coaches.
How's the preparations been like for the grand final this week?
It's been very intense. Training has been a lot. They've been training us hard. It's a big game. It's going to be hard hitting, and yeah.
Very excited though.
Yeah.
Very excited. A lot of people's first time.
Now, your opponents this week is Jimboomba, because in that grand final. How have you fared against them throughout the year?
Our first game, we actually drew against them, but when we came against them again, we came out on top. So, hoping to do that again this weekend.
Hell yeah.
Now, tell us a bit about the final series leading up to this.
So that was against Morningside. Tough game in the first quarter, but I think in the second and third quarter we really kicked away and showed what we're made of and came out on top by, was it 30 points?
Yeah, 30 points.
30 points.
And how much did you learn from that game going into hopefully to put it all together in the grand final?
I think we learned that finals is a completely different game, so it's really just about who wants it more, and hopefully on the weekend we show that we want it more.
Now, the season up to this point, obviously up to the grand final, obviously with the shortened season due to obviously what's happened with COVID, and I'm sure it was a pretty long pre-season leading up to this. I guess how good is it now to get to the grand final and see that all the hard work going into the season leading up to this?
It's like a sense of relief almost for me personally.
It's been one of those, it's a year like no other. So we had a really good pre-season going into it, finally getting the fixture released to have a real good crack at the year. Then COVID hit. And then it was we're going to play, we're going to train, we're going to get to see our mates. And then obviously when we got the green light to start training again, that sense of relief saying that we're back, and that just that just fueled the fire even more. And the ladies, with all the challenges, they just took it in their stride, so they did really well.
When obviously COVID stopped the season for a moment, were any of you optimistic that you were going to get back on the field and, I guess, start the season?
Initially, no. Obviously, I don't think any of us really had any idea of what was going to happen, but it was so good when we did find out we were going to have a season.
Yeah, we were definitely hopeful, but it wasn't looking too good in the first part. But we were so happy here that we were able to come back, and here we are now. And
as players and coaches, how difficult was it to get back into the routine of going back to training after COVID hit, and especially around all the protocols and the COVID safe sort of things?
I think personally it was fine because I just really wanted to play, so I was just happy to comply with whatever.
I don't think too much changed. Obviously, we're all down there in training and having fun and everything. We stuck with the safety rules of COVID and everything, but we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was hard to, I think at times you had to be mindful of the distancing and no contact. And obviously limited at the start with how many could train at once. So, yeah.
from a coach's point of view, it was a logistical nightmare at times. You've obviously got a playing group and only 15 could go out together, which made it really difficult because there's not a lot of training drills that you can do that limit the 15 and then split them up into 2 groups. And logistically, it became very, we just cut it back down to basics. And it was more rather focusing on our big skills and that we focused on bringing everyone closer together. And we created a family environment, which I think for the transition into the second part of the year made life a lot easier, and everyone just sort of gelled and stuck together. From a team's point of view, this year, with all the interruptions, it's probably the closest we've ever felt at the same time. So.
Now, without giving too much away to your opponents this week, tell us a couple of players we should watch out for when people are watching the game. And you can't even tell us.
Everyone's got their own unique role. We've worked really hard this year, developing individual roles, but also developing that into obviously our back line. What we expect of a back line, it's not just one person that stands out. If you have one person, the rest of the team crumbles. But when you're standing in side by side and fighting for that one goal, it makes it really hard for the opponents, which I think is one of the things that's made the rest of the competition realise is that it's not just one player. It's the whole group. They're not playing as an individual. There's no specific individual that's going to take the reins. Everybody has their role and everyone knows it. So.
Now, how did all you get involved in footy, and why did you choose it?
How do I get involved? I played in a variety of other sports, basketball, soccer, touch, and it just come up to have a go for women's footy to have a kick. So that's how I got on board with it. Just went along and here I am.
Yeah, mine's essentially the same story. I just got asked to come down to a training session when we were at Coomera and just got asked to come and have a kick, and 4 years on, still going.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I had a friend of mine who was playing here the year before I started, and she's like, you should, pre-season, you should come down and give it a crack, and came down and had a crack, and not looking back. Like, I'm enjoying all of it every year.
Yeah, no, I had a friend ask me to come down and join the women's team the first year it started, and I missed that opportunity. And then the second year, I was like, I'm not going to miss this one. So
I've been part of it all my life.
Now, what will be some highlights throughout all your footy journey so far?
My highlight has been the 2 goals I've kicked in my football career. One of them last weekend, the preliminary final. That was photographed as well. That was shocking. So, but that's pretty much been my highlights.
Probably back in school, we made a few rep things and we won the grand final, so that was pretty cool.
I think for me, actually, this is going back to last year, I won the Division 2 Best and Fairest player, which I think is insane. Like, I was completely shocked, but completely honoured, and both myself and Shay actually got into the top 5 this year. Unfortunately, didn't take it away, but we got up there, which is like pretty awesome.
Second and third.
Now, for those 2 that just mentioned about, especially in the Best and Fairest count this year, what did that mean to both of you?
Really honoured. I suppose I've just enjoyed playing footy this year with a great bunch of girls, getting out on the field with them and giving it my best and having some fun along the way. So to be recognised in the competition in the top 5, quite blown away, really. Very good.
Couldn't say it better myself. Pretty much exactly what she said. Like, I'm here to play footy. I have fun with the girls, but to have that recognition is extremely amazing. Truly honour, like an absolute honour.
Now, for all five of you, what does the sport of footy mean to you, and especially being there, Beenleigh Buffaloes?
It's like a family. Great place to be around, be social, learn some skills, obviously some footy skills, but also just general life skills where everyone's supportive of one another, and it makes coming to training very enjoyable.
For I set my mind to. I know none of you guys will know, but the first year I played football, I was shocking because I'd never played a football sport or anything with kicking. So I've gone from nothing to where I am now, and it's just proof that I can do it, and it's great that somewhere so close can facilitate that.
Yeah, I love it here. The support that we have from everyone, being other players, our supporters, like we love them. And the atmosphere here is just absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't want to play anywhere else.
Yeah, 100%. The girls said it awesomely. So the family, the support we get, just the amount of fun you can have while playing.
For me, it's been a big change transitioning from men's footy into the ladies footy with the coaching side, and biggest thing for me so far has been seeing football from a whole new perspective, and it's reignited an old flame virtually. So, and one thing that we've really committed to this year is we're not friends, we're not teammates or anything like that. We are family, and that's probably the biggest thing that we've started creating here at the club. And it's infectious. Other teams are taking that on board, and it's one big family up here now. So
now, your home ground there at Durham Park in Beenleigh, obviously it has hosted a couple of Quaffle W games because of what's happened down the Gold Coast. I guess how good is to see some, and especially your club, having a lot of Quaffle W games this year?
It's been good. It is a good field compared to a lot of the other fields that I played. Really great ground.
Yeah, the field itself, it holds up really well. We had four finals, like 3 grand finals and a semi-final on the weekend, and we trained on it 2 days later, and it was still perfect condition. So it holds up really well. So we're really lucky to have that, and we've had a few field upgrades in the last 12 months as well, which makes it even more special now. So.
Now, what will be your advice to our listeners, especially in Brizzy, that should get down to Beenleigh, especially to the amazing Durham Park, to play the sport of footy in 2021?
Best advice is to just bite the bullet and do it, because I know a lot of women are scared of the whole tackling aspect and the physical contact. Once you get that first touch and you just get used to it, you just can't get enough of it. Just to do that initial training session, attend that pre-season, and just do it.
We've had a lot of girls that this is their first year playing footy, and they've loved it. And this week they'll be playing in a grand final.
Now, of course, the AFL Grand Final this year is in Brisbane due to Melbourne's unfortunate lockdown. The question I'm going to ask you is, how good is that, and what did that mean to all of you?
Crazy good.
For me personally, AFL up here in Queensland, it's sort of the third sort of tier sport in Queensland. It's very rugby league dominated, and over the past decade or so, with Brisbane not doing so well, and then in the last 2 years, really turn that around. Potential grand final players themselves and hosting it up here. It's really reignited the passion for AFL in Queensland, and on now that you open up a newspaper on the back page, instead of everything being NRL, it's AFL for the first 3 pages. And once people keep seeing it, and even with the games where we had a game every night, it just dominated the TV up here and the news up here. And, you know, it just, the AFL wave is taken over again, which is really good. So, and to host it, you know, being the first place out of the MCG for, you know, to host it is phenomenal, and you know it's going to be something to remember.
Who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
Do we agree that it's
Amy.
Amy?
We'd have to go with Amy. The amount of Falcons she has taken.
Is when she dove to smother a ball and she got like a huge black eye from it. That was the best one.
Yeah. She's always on the ball.
Yeah. Ball magnet.
Who's the comedian in the team?
Beavers.
Beavers.
Yeah.
Emily.
She's always got something to say too.
Always. Can't shut her up.
She can talk underwater.
Any good singers and dancers we should know about?
Bad dancer, Brock Meredith, coach.
Yeah. Bad dancer. We have to
Dobbing
go
him
best
in.
one.
Sunday special.
Now, of course, any pre-game songs to hype the team up? If so, who ran that playlist?
I think JP always puts a playlist on.
But I got to say, I have a special place in my heart for Poppy's playlist. I thought personally that one was way better and it amps me up way more.
It's good when people, someone does remember to bring the singer. So.
Yes. We'll just sing it.
No, the last two, which is, I know with footy clubs there's some really good nicknames. Who has the best nickname in the team?
I'm super inventive with the nicknames.
No. We've got a lot of T's.
Yeah.
Meeks.
Yeah,
We've got a lot of
TJ.
double.
Yeah, three.
yeah, we've got Elise, her nickname's Squirt.
Yeah.
I think Amy's starting to take on the nickname of tennis ball the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Used to have tissues. They were better when Penny was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
some sledges.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, a two-part question to finish off. Now, during the lockdown that you've had early in the year, did any of you tried anything new, and do you have a hidden talent that you didn't think you had?
My lockdown, feeling a roller from work, so I was on the roller quite a bit, trying to keep my cardio up. And and on top of that, I tried to learn the guitar. Still trying.
I wanted to learn embroidery and I just never got around to it because work never stopped, literally never stopped. So
I was really close to learning the splits, but then footy came back and now I don't roll.
If you have a fine system, who's topped the most fines and what was it for?
yeah,
think,
crazy sock finds. We do crazy socks on Wednesdays. A lot of people forget, and every time it's when they walk through the gate and they're like, "Oh my god, my socks!" Shay's really good for that.
Yeah, lots of fines for getting the crazy socks.
And rating yourself. Ty's really good at that too.
Yes.
Love rate.
I think Amy still takes it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy's still with
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Amy's got the Falcon stat, so that's
Yeah.
fine every time. So she's probably winning.
Oh, well, let's hope she doesn't get any more Falcons in the grand final. But Oi, thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome having you on the show. From all of us here at Smash FM, we want to wish you all the best for the grand final this weekend, and hopefully, if you win the grand final this on the weekend and win the premiership, hopefully we'll get you back on to tell us all about it next week.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
No worries, and that's the Beenleigh women's football team. Of course, make sure you get down and support the Mighty Buffaloes in the grand final this weekend against Jimboomba. And of course, they will put all the details up on how you can go about getting down there and support the team in the grand final on the weekend. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away.